believe this is the first time that 3 different eras like this have been represented, and each of you had very different quarterbacks as far as personalities. Let's start with you, Donald. Aaron Rodgers.
He's truly the best. You know, I've looked at him, you know, from a young kid and growing into this great quarterback that he is today. His compassion, his love for the game. I think he has this little thing on his shoulder. He has a chip on his shoulder that he wants to prove to the world that he should have been the first pick in 2005 draft. And that's the way he plays the game. He wants to not just prove that he's one of the best quarterbacks, but not that he is the best quarterback to ever play this game today.
The 1996 season, Santana, another great season for Brett Favre as he was in the midst of that MVP run. What was he like as far as leading the Packers at that time at quarterback?
You know, I think, you know, all those guys, and it started with Brett Favre, were so approachable. You know, he was a hands-on guy. Quarterbacks by nature is kind of an anal position. You know, they're kind of introverted into themselves. But Brett, I always tell people, Brett is one of the only guys, only quarterbacks that I would start and end a fight for. You know, he's one of those guys that enjoys playing the game, and he enjoyed playing the game. Every part of it, you know, was about him making the throw or making the play to help his teammates and put them in a position to win. And he showed that. He proved it week in and week out.
Jerry, you were involved, the guy in that Ice Bowl block for Bart Starr. What about Bart Starr as a leader of that team, and quiet leadership in a way, wasn't it?
Very quiet, and that was a key word about Bart. We didn't know who Bart was early on in his career, and he had a reputation of being a little bit soft. He was quiet, and when he would get really angry, he would say, "Come on now, let's go." And that was a harsh word from Bart. So we really didn't know whether he was had some steel in his back or not. We're playing the Chicago Bears. We've got a middle linebacker like they always have, named Bill George at this time. Bart throws a long ball. My defensive tackle turns around and he's watching the ball. I'm watching the ball. Bart's watching the ball. Bill George isn't watching the ball. He's running at Bart with a forearm. He hits him in the mouth with a forearm, splits his lip from the top of his lip up into his nose, knocks him about 5 yards back on his keister, and says, "That ought to take care of you, Star, you bleepity bleep bleep." And Bart says, "Bleep you, Bill George, I'm coming after you." And I look at him, and he's just flowing blood. It's just down the white jersey and just flowing blood. And I said, "Bart, you better go to the sidelines and get sewed up. Shut up and get in the huddle." Okay. Look at here. Look what we got. Yeah, look at this boy got some metal in him. Look at here. So we never worried about him after that. We knew that he could take the pounding and he could take the punishment and he could get up and keep on going. And he was a very careful quarterback. Aaron reminds me of Bart in a lot of ways, but Bart in playoffs, championships, Super Bowls, game to determine titles, threw 244 passes and had 1 or 2 interceptions. So that was Bart Starr in a nutshell. He was very precise and very cautious and very accurate.